Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I have a really special guest with me today, Danny Miranda. He's someone that I've been following for quite a long time, and it's actually an interesting story of how we got here. I just simply reached out to him, said, I'd love to interview you, and I thought, he's such a busy guy. He pretty good chance he won't even see it. And sometime later, I, got a response. I'm like, who is this? I said like Danny Miranda. And then I was like freaking out. I showed my friend, like, look, it's Danny Miranda. He actually responded to me. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So guys, take your shot. Take your shot. You never know what's going to happen. And people are so kind, just like Danny is now, to give me the time of day. So first off, thank you, man. And for the few people that, are living under a rock, do you mind explaining to me, just give me a little pitch of who you are and what you do, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Thank you for the kind words. And I'm curious, before I do that, how did you come to find my stuff and my content?
YouTube algorithm.
Nice.
It recommended me one day, and then I clicked it, and then I loved it. So it was a YouTube algo.
Love it. And then what about what I was putting out resonated with you?
The I don't want to say the word mindset because it's not just that. I really resonate with people that resonate with me. I think you have a really inquisitive mind, and you seem to me like someone that just pushes through whatever bullshit's in his way. And I'm like that too. Obviously not to your degree because I'm just a regular guy, but I'm like, wow, the life this man has built for himself was like, to me, it was like crazy. So that's what attracted me to your content.
I appreciate that. Well, I'm just a regular guy too. I'm just
Yeah.
a guy living out in Austin, Texas. I'm 29 years young, and I help people uh, become more free, and I help people become more in touch with the truth of who they are, which is we got these stories about, oh, I'm Danny Miranda, and that means this about me, and the truth is that my name is not who I am. My body is not who I am. What I've done in the past is not who I am. And maybe I'm required to own part of who I am. But the truth is, we are divine essences. And my journey has been in recognizing that and becoming more clear with that. And yeah, it's been an interesting journey to get to that point, and I'm happy to dive into any of it. But yeah, just a guy who is living out the life story of the guy named Danny Miranda. And I'm very interested to see how that life story will end up actually going.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And Danny, I always, there's so much I want to get into, but if there's one thing I'm really curious of is, right now you're, a 29-year-old grown man, but do you think you were the same inquisitive and just questioning person you were questioning things, trying to figure out the world around you? Were you always an inquisitive person, or did you grow up into that into adulthood? Because some people, like, they're very shy kids and then they grow up to be very outgoing adults, but some people, they're the same throughout and some change. Were you always the same, or did you change from a kid to an adult?
Yeah, I think I went through a few different phases. When I was a kid, I found myself very inquisitive and very curious. Like when I was young, maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But I remember after 16 making the conscious decision, I want to be a normal kid. I don't want this inquisitive nature. I almost don't want this curiosity. I want to go down the path that everyone else is going down. And so I made the choice to suppress it. And then, at 25 or 24, I said to myself, I really have built a lot of what I thought I wanted, and it's not what I actually want. And I'm going to
Right.
start to meditate. And when I started to meditate, and what that meant was 20 minutes just setting a timer on my phone or a kitchen timer and having it and setting it for 20 minutes before I started my day. And when I started to do that, I started to gain a lot of the inquisitiveness and the curiosity that I had as a child. Curiosity for myself, curiosity for my own limiting beliefs, curiosity for just how I was approaching life. And so that kind of shifted a lot for me when I just took time and space to just be. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how the curiosity came back. And then that ended up manifesting into a podcast, and that ended up manifesting me asking all these questions and going down all these rabbit holes and all these explorations. And yeah, that it came back because of the meditation.
I love it. I love it. For me personally, through podcasting, interviewing, to it's at least for my life, what it's opened up to me is to understand the power of somebody else's story and
Mm-hmm.
really paying attention to listening. Because when I speak, I learn a little bit. When I hear though, I learn a lot. Like the old saying goes, God gives you, 2 ears, one mouth. So with podcasting and interviewing, that's what I've learned is to really hear the person in front of me. You've talked to so many huge people, Alex Hormozi, Lila Hormozi, just to name a few. What have you learned through your experience of podcasting and interviewing others?
Um, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. I would say, um, I would say that I've learned how similar and different human beings are. Meaning, human beings all have the same desire to be loved and to be heard and to be understood. Everybody, no matter how famous, no matter how rich, no matter how successful, no matter how much they're a monk meditating in a cave or they're in the world and making millions and millions of dollars. Excuse me. And
Yeah.
and I would say that all humans have this desire to be heard, to be loved, to be understood. But then it's so different in how it's expressed. People can express it with playing a sport, or people can express that same desire by building a business, or people can express it by starting a podcast, or people can express it by really trying to hear and understand others. So, what the podcast helped illustrate for me and has illustrated for me is that the similarities and the differences of human beings are so beautiful, in that some humans are so similar and some humans are so different. But at the end of the day, the similarities and differences just come through stronger when I have so many examples to see.
I love that. I love that. And as someone that, does everything you do, I would imagine you really, there's a good amount of time you follow your intuition or gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime, I was listening to a wonderful speaker yesterday and she was saying, your intuition supersedes your intelligence.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's intelligence that hasn't even materialized or caught up to you yet. You somehow instinctually understand to go a certain path. For me, when I do my podcasting, I understand instinctually I am on the correct path. Has there been any time, if you're okay with answering that, you understood your instinctual need that this is what Danny Miranda needs to do, but you went another way and you understood you had to go back to your true path?
Yeah, I mean, many times of going off the path and coming back on, many times off, on, off, on. I think it's a never ending journey of life is to go off and on and understand that. I mean, one big one that comes to mind is when I decided to go to college and when I decided to live in college, there was this voice that said to me, "You're not supposed to be here." And I was like, I don't care. This is what everyone else is doing. This is normal. This is what I'm supposed to be. This is what my parents want me to do. Of course I'm supposed to be here. But the voice is like, no, you're not. This is college isn't really for you. And so that was a huge one for me. You know, there was a there was a time even after college where I was doing e-commerce, and there was a voice that was like, "This isn't you either. This is not what you're supposed to be doing." And And then I said, okay, okay. After I started to meditate, I really started to tap into that and listen and get clear on it. And then when I started personal training, that felt closer in alignment with who I am. Then when I started writing, I said, wow, this is what I was doing as a child. And I love this just for the sake of doing it. So, um, yeah, life is a never ending journey of going off the path and on the path. And what I've realized is that going off the path is part of the path.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's been my journey with it.
No, absolutely, man. I could definitely relate to that because anytime I shift just a little bit off my path, just like you, I hear the voice saying, "You're no, go back, go back, go back." And sometimes I have to get hit a little bit to be like, "Okay, okay, sorry, I'll go back." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what is it about? I want to say. So this is my views on confidence. I really would love to get into this with you. I really agree with Layla Hormozi and Alex Hormozi view. So Layla talks about it like she says, "I've never really been that confident of a person." I've heard her repeatedly state that, you know. But there's always a negative voice inside her head. But what makes her so amazing is she hears it, she acknowledges it, but she does it anyway. I have that same, way that Lila goes through it. That same thing, I relate to her. And as far as with Alex, Alex says confidence is not shouting in a mirror, "I'm great, I'm amazing," because no, you're not. Like you shouting in a mirror, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good to have confidence, but it's not really any evidence. You being amazing or great is you having a stack of tangible evidence saying, "Well, no, I'm great because I did this, 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 and this. This is why I'm good in business. This is why I'm good in my marriage," or whatever it may be. Do you naturally have that confidence inside you? I don't. I get the confidence from just constantly doing. I always have a negative voice in my head, and I'm trying to disprove it all my life. That's how I've been. I'd love to know, are you more just like a naturally confident person, or how's your situation?
Yeah, it's really interesting that you draw the comparison there to confidence. I really have found confidence from repeating affirmations to myself. I really have found confidence from saying I love myself over and over and over again. In the beginning, not believing it, and by the end of 30 days, experiencing miracles. So for me, it has been it's been a process of um, like even when I don't believe it, even when I don't have the stack of proof, saying it anyway and leaning into that and going deeper into that and saying, okay, I don't believe this right now, but I believe that maybe I will believe it if I repeat this enough times. And from my vantage point, we become what we repeat about ourselves. And so, if you have called yourself a piece of shit for X number of years, and then you start saying, I love myself, you're going to say, I don't believe that. But now what if you, for the same amount of years, said, I love myself? And how would that change your perception of yourself? Even if in the beginning, first week, first month, maybe you didn't believe it, you would find evidence for it. I mean, that's been my experience at least. So.
Really?
Yeah.
How I'd love to get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
How long did that take for you to say, I love myself, and actually mean it and believe it? Did it take 30 days? Like
30 days.
30 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long was it that you thought that you didn't feel that way before you switched for 30 days? Was it like 2 years, 3 years?
I would say what's been cool about my own life is that I have a short-term memory.
Okay.
Some people compliment me on my memory sometimes, and I find that funny. But in actuality, I can forget what happened last month really quickly, and that's positive and negative. Yeah. And so, in college, there are ways in which I acted in college that I would never act in the present day version of who I am. And there were ways in which I acted in college that was not loving myself. And so I was able to forget about that by writing every day, I love myself 100 times. And by saying I love myself and looking myself in the mirror every day, in the mirror 5 minutes a day, just looking directly in my eyes, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And I got this practice from Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It by Kamal Ravikant. It really, really worked for me. And it's the reason why I talk about it so much. But how long did I not love myself? I don't know is the correct answer. There have been many periods in my life where I've acted as if I didn't love myself, and many periods in my life where I acted as if I did. And it flips for me in 1 month. That's all I can say, and I can know for sure. And for other people, it might be different. You might be have a better memory than me. You might be your stack of proof might be so great for a reason why you don't love yourself. For me, I know it's always been a month. If I commit to this practice over a month, the love yourself like your life depends on it by Kamal Ravikant practice that he outlines in his book, switch. Month, I'm like, oh wow, it's a completely different reality. What happened? So I recommend it.
Is that like one of your favorite books, you'd say, or?
For sure. Yeah. It definitely got me thinking in a different way about life. And it helped. It's one I go back to again and again. It's so practical. It's so real. The book starts and the author who now is a friend of mine, but when I read it, I didn't know him. He he started the book started the practice because his his girlfriend broke up with him, his friend died, and his business failed in the same month. And he was able to start doing this practice of I love myself, and his life turned around. And so I said to myself, okay, if this worked for him, this will work for me too. Because my situation is not like the one that he's describing.
Wow, wow, powerful, powerful. With me, there's a saying, like, it comes in threes. One bad thing doesn't just happen. There, a couple of things happen at the same time. Like, for example, me, I had my girlfriend broke up. This was a couple of years ago, but it's something that resonates with me that you're saying right now. Like, I had my great girlfriend break up with me. I had a health scare in the 1 month, and I lost my job all in
Wow.
like the same month.
Wow.
But it is very painful, like, I'm not gonna lie, but in a way, it's good because it sets you up to become a better version of yourself. Maybe not in that moment because it's really tough, but now looking back, I could say, I'm a very much stronger man now than I am back then. So it is powerful. And with me, and because one thing I value the most out of me and everyone is you could be intelligent, you could be successful, whatever. Transparency supersedes everything. To be in the name of transparency, the biggest thing I struggle with is when I'm at night laying down in my bed, I'm thinking I'm taking a little bit of a non-traditional career path. Will this pan out? Because I'd like to, have a stable life. I don't want to be unstable all my life. I want to be stable financially speaking. And that's something that scares me as I get older. That's what really worries me. Is there anything, Danny, that worries you and keeps you up?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I tweeted the other day about three real deep fears of mine, which are one is around um it's one is like will I make enough money to uh while following my own path? That's a huge fear of mine. Another fear is like will I meet the woman who I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with, who I want to raise children with? And
Right.
three, then will I be able to provide for my children in the way that I desire? And yeah, those are three core fears for me.
What is the way that, if you don't mind me asking, the last point you said, provide for your children in the way that you desire? What is that, Danny?
I was raised in from a wealthy family, and so I was
Right.
given the world, and I was given opportunities, and I could try basketball, and I could try saxophone, and I I just admire how much my parents uh, gave me in terms of opportunities.
Mm.
And I'm so appreciative for it. And I have a desire to give the same opportunities for my children as well. And
Uh,
my parents were lawyers, are lawyers. So it's like, this is a very traditional path. And I'm saying to myself, can I provide for my children in the untraditional way? And that's a deep fear of mine that I won't be able to.
wow. But first of all, man, that's powerful. That scared me hearing it, but I really value the transparency. It scared me, not that I doubt you, because I don't, but it's a heavy thought to think.
Yeah.
So that must be tough, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. One thing I really want to brush up on, something I've been getting into a lot recently. I don't know if you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, um, but he talks a lot about intelligence and perhaps, at least to his opinion, he says, the scientific literature states that intelligence is something that's inherited and passed down.
Mm.
So you have intelligent parents from a pretty, white collar lawyer. That's very good, very hard occupation. I've worked a lot with lawyers, and they're some of the most driven people I've ever met. And they're very smart and analytical. They see things that, like, if you put a white page there, they'll say they see black dots, and I'm like, what the are you talking about? But you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
do you think that intelligence is something that's passed down, or is it something that could be learned in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really run the counterfactual in my own
Oh no,
life.
I mean, in just like your life experience. I mean,
Yeah, in my own life experience, I mean, I feel that I have my parents are smart people. My grandparents are smart people, and I feel like a smart person as well. And I also feel like, in many ways, I've been an idiot. And so, like, um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they would say that intelligence is passed down for half our children, um, but I'm not quite sure.
no, I love it. I love the honesty, and yeah, I just wanted to ask that because that's something that's really been in my head. Because sometimes I think, oh, am I smart enough to really get the things that I want in life? And
Yeah.
just selfishly, for me to ask, because you're someone I really look up to, so I'm like, maybe Danny sees things in a way that I wouldn't, so that's why I want to bring that up to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I also don't think that the smartest people, I don't think money and success is necessarily correlated to intelligence. There's a lot of really smart people who uh, don't make a lot of money. And
Right.
so I'd be curious to see, like, what's IQ and income, what's the correlation there? And what if what if money and intelligence weren't correlated? What would that change about um, how how you approach the world, or how I approach the world?
Hmm.
So, or success in whatever way you want to be successful.
Perfect. How do you measure sorry, not intelligence, success in your life?
Yeah, for me, success is peace of mind. You know,
Oh,
how
okay.
how how much can I be at peace in my mind when I go to bed at night? Am I okay? Um am I loving myself? Am I at peace with all of the things that have happened and all of my behaviors and all of my actions? Am I okay with that? Am I okay with the world around me? Am I at peace with everything? To me, that's true success. You look at someone like Lao Tzu, who I believe had a wealth and a fortune, and then said, you know what? There's all these wars going on where I'm at. I'm just going to go and I'm just going to prioritize peace of mind. Someone like Eckhart Tolle, someone like Wayne Dyer. These people are looking beyond what we traditionally think of as success, and they're really looking for a deeper, more truer form of, am I in alignment? Am I in alignment with my values? Am I living in alignment every day? Is my mind at peace?
I love that.
Yeah.
When uh, my friend, shout out to my friend Sam Lacrosse. He's also in Austin, Texas. Actually, it's funny enough. He talks a lot about values, and I see when I'm like, let's say I'm in a successful stage of my life, but my values are here. I don't even care about the success because I feel like I'm being a fraud or inauthentic because that's not truly who I am.
Right.
So I really do agree that we need to have our values and what we're perceiving as success be in alignment. Because if it's not, then don't even bother, honestly.
That's right. And I've had success. I've had um, I've gotten what I wanted, but it not being in my values, and therefore it wasn't successful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So something I want to segue into, um, your content I really love. You have so many people resonate, so many people watch, and it's not just because they just, it's not for any reason. It's because people watch something because they either agree with it, disagree with it, or resonate with it.
Mm.
And I really think it's because the biggest thing, at least in my opinion, to your content is because it resonates. Your content resonates a lot with me. What do you think it is about your content that resonates with other people? And I'd love to know, how did you network with such big people that so many people want to get in touch with, like Alex Hormozi, for example?
Yeah. So every time I have um, gotten a big guest in my life on the podcast, when it was my primary focus, every time was because I did something kind for someone,
Hmm.
or I overgave, or I just, yeah, I did something kind, or I overgave. And I'll give you specific examples so that it makes sense to you.
Yes.
Um, in 2020, Gary Vaynerchuk, you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he came on my podcast. It was December of
Yeah.
2020. And what happened was, the week before, I had a phone call with my friend Logan, and we were talking, and I sent Logan a book, just because I heard what he was talking about, and I said, okay, I think you'd really enjoy this book. I don't remember what book it was, but I'm curious to look it up after this.
Yeah.
So I sent him a book after our conversation, and then the following week, I put out on Twitter. I was like, this is a list of my dream podcast guests. I had started my podcast 3 months ago. I was doing 3 episodes a week. I was putting in a lot of effort for it. It was like Gary Vaynerchuk, Mike Posner, Jocko Willink, people in that vein. Anyway, Gary followed me from this post, and I tweeted out that he followed me. And then there was probably 50 to 100 people who commented on that post and said, hey, Gary, you should really go on this guy, Danny Miranda's podcast.
The post that you said I'd really love to have him.
The
And these
post,
people.
the post that it was like, Gary Vaynerchuk followed me, and this is a big day for me.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
And 50 to 100 people start commenting. And Gary Vaynerchuk is not responding to this. Doesn't seem like he's looking at it or caring about it. One guy starts hating on Gary, and then Gary starts responding to that person. And then then my friend Logan comments, hey, Gary, this is the same guy that I wrote the book to, or gave the book to the previous week. Hey, Gary, if you're still here in this thread, I really think you should go on Danny Miranda's podcast. This is a great guy, and I feel like it would be an amazing Christmas present, and just this is worth your time. And Gary said, yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. There were 50 other people who said you should go on Danny's podcast. But to Logan, he said, yes, I'll do it. The idea being, if I didn't send that book to Logan, would he have written that message? Would Gary have come on my podcast? I don't know. Same thing, similar situation happened with Andy Frisella, where a guy comments under one of my tweets like, hey, I want to start a podcast. And I said, cool, let's get on the phone. Let's talk about it. Spoke to him on the phone, 30 minutes. He says, hey, do you want to interview Andy Frisella? I said, yeah, I've done 75 Hard 3 or 4 times in my life. I would love to. He said, great. I'm friends with his friend. He made it happen. And it was like, whoa, okay, this is so interesting. Do kind thing for someone get rewarded in a massive way that I couldn't have predicted, that's in alignment with what I actually want.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's really when you're giving to others. Of course, you're not supposed to expect things in return, but it seems like when you are genuine and kind, you do get rewarded for it. I don't want to say the word rewarded, but people notice is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People notice and they want to give. They want to give too in subtle, small ways. Maybe it's just one tweet here. Maybe it's just one comment. Maybe it's reaching out to their friend, right? The reason why Alex Hormozi came on my podcast is because I did a different podcast with somebody I didn't know was connected to Alex, and I did so much research on them and I cared about them so much and I saw them so deeply that they felt so honored by that they said, oh, if he does an interview with Alex, it's going to be amazing. So the hard part for all of us to see sometimes is like you're getting exactly the opportunities that you're supposed to be getting in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't like those opportunities, if you don't like what's in front of you, it's like, well, this is the previous version of yourself created this. Mm-hmm. And accepting that and having responsibility for that is the first step in evolving beyond it.
100%. 100%. I love all of that. Is there kind of like, how do I say it? Not a mantra, but more so, how do I say it? To me, at least, when I want to pursue anything I want to pursue, I understand that there's cause and effect with everything. And it seems like you really, at least from what I understand, are in agreement with that to an extent. Yeah, definitely. That is what keeps me going. What is it that keeps you going? Because your life isn't just success, success, success. There's definitely a lot of hard times you went through. So what is it that keeps you going?
What keeps me going is this deep underlying knowing that I was put on this earth to help people love one another. That I was put on this earth to help people grow. That I was put on this earth to help people understand themselves emotionally, help see the truth of who they are, and help to expand possibilities. I know that's why I was here. I mean, when I was 13 years old, I was writing a blog on time management to help people grow. 13 years old. I was put on this earth to do this. Put on this earth to help inspire people, to help people understand themselves deeper.
Right.
So that knowing makes me, even when I go through challenges, even when I go through hard times, it makes me realize, I know there's a deep reason for why I'm here. I know so clearly, and I feel it every day in meditation. I feel my purpose. I feel what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel that even if the outside circumstances aren't in alignment with what I actually want at the deepest level, I know it's all good because I'm here to help people heal and grow.
Love it. Love it. What I love the most about that is because so many people are here. I'm here because I want this and I want that. But what I love most about you is that it's not about you. It's about helping others because that helps you in turn.
Yeah.
So that's when we're at our highest selves, is when we're serving other people.
Yeah. When you serve other people, you serve yourself.
Absolutely.
It's like the same part of your brain lights up when you give a gift as you receive a gift. Same part.
Yeah.
And so which one of those is in your control?
If it's the same part that lights up, it's up to you what path you want to go down.
And which one, the giving or receiving, is in your control to...
Oh, that's what you mean.
Giving. Yeah,
you
giving. You can't control receiving, but the same part of your brain is lighting up when you're receiving a gift as you're giving a gift.
Yeah.
Same part. but only
Yeah.
one of those two is in your control.
100%.
You follow?
Yeah.
So
You control the giving, but receiving you have no control over.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Powerful.
That's right. And so if you make your life a way to give gifts everywhere you go with your energy, with actual physical gifts, with just being a person who wants to embody giving, you get to receive every time as well, because the same part of your brain doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. That's what I love so much about you and the way you interview is because you take very complex topics and you break it down for just people to understand like me. The same part of your brain lights up when you give and receive. Which part do you control? I mean, that's so simple but so profound that I understand. But if you come here and say, the reticular activating system lights up and the premium cortex, I'm like, what do you say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
So it's like, how can we give today? Like, if we just brainstorm right now, like what are ways that we can give today? Like, what are ways you can give today?
Offering encouragement to people I see when I go outside. If they're having a bad day or they're upset, for example, that can be one way.
Yeah. Yeah. Like looking someone in the eye and saying hello. Like,
Yeah.
how are you doing? Like,
Right.
literally just saying hello. How are you doing? Like, how are you really doing? That could be a gift. It's so simple. Just with your energy and what you mean by the words. Right?
100%. Yeah.
Imagine going through your list of contacts in your phone and being like, okay, who can I call today?
Right.
Who can I call today? Who can I connect with from my past who I haven't spoke to in a year? And how can I just bring them good energy? How can I bring them love and appreciation and attention? It's like, can I send them a voice note? Can I give them a call? Possibilities.
100%. I definitely agree with you. One thing that I want to ask, and I like to ask all my guests, is, Danny, where do you see yourself evolving into 5 years from now, if you think that far into the future? Which I'm not sure if you do.
Yeah, so I actually just started listening to an audio tape. This is so interesting that you asked this specific question. I
Yeah.
started listening to an audio tape. It's called The Magical Path by this guy named Mark Allen. And he has you visualize 5 years into the future and what the type of person you would like to be 5 years into the future.
Right.
And 5 years into the future, I really see myself being in a loving, committed relationship with the person that I am spending the rest of my life with. I imagine myself having a child 5 years from now. I imagine myself fully stepped into this career as a writer and a speaker. I fully stepped into this knowing of helping people live lives that are more in alignment with the person that they want to be. I plan to have best-selling books and speaking and just really just embodying love on a grand scale.
Yeah.
Love for myself and love for humanity.
I love it. I want to really ask. I love to write too. I'm not, not as good as you. I like to write on Substack, but when I write, I feel like my thoughts, opinions, ideas, and beliefs really, because my brain, I have diagnosed ADHD, so it's always like bouncing around and around. But when I write down my thoughts, then I understand, okay, this is why I believe this. This is why I believe that. My thoughts get organized. Is that the same phenomenon for you, or is it different?
Totally. Yeah, that's
Oh,
exactly what happens.
nice.
Yeah, I write 1,000. I try to write 1,000 words every single day. I didn't for the last few days, but it's such an important practice for me. And I started my entry yesterday where it was like, I just love that I'm getting an opportunity to witness my mind, because I had a few days off and I was like, wow, it feels so good. I would say for 80 or 90% of the days this year have written 1,000 words. And it's just like, wow, what a beautiful practice to do and to have, and a record of my thoughts and my history. So yeah.
I love that, man. I love that. Thank you very much, man. I had the perfect guest and the perfect audience to receive him, Danny Miranda. Danny, I want to end off by saying, where can people find you? Where can people find you and your content? Go ahead and tell us.
You can find me at Hey Danny Miranda on X and Instagram. It's probably the two places I spend the most time on. Um, yeah, DannyMiranda.com for what I'm up to and what I'm doing. Thank you for
Perfect,
having me.
guys.
Really appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for getting a chance to listen to him, learning as much as I have. I hope you learned. I learned so much. Comment down below what your favorite part was, and we're going to go ahead and link his contact in the description. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next time. Thank you, Dan.
God bless you. Be well.
God bless.